your apartment is organized is pivotal to keeping a neat home, but sometimes it can be expensive, as many items that are quite pricey. Welcome to Jensen's DIY, and here are 28 super cheap ways to keep your apartment organized. 1. Floating shelves can be an incredibly inexpensive option for organizing your apartment. Simply search online for different options, as there are many different styles and colors that you can purchase floating shelves in. Place them anywhere in the apartment. Whatever you want to put on it, you can. Not only does it display your possessions in an organized fashion, it's also practical. 2. We all have a junk drawer, but not every drawer should be a junk drawer, especially your utensil drawer. With a holder, you can keep everything organized and minimize the clutter in your drawers. Everything stays cleaner. You won't have to dig everything to find what you need, and it will give you a better peace of mind. 3. When you live in an apartment, you don't typically have a washer or dryer in your actual apartment. Most of the time, you have a laundry room in the basement of the building, or you may have to actually go to an external laundromat to do your weekly laundry. Get a drawstring closure to neatly organize your dirty clothes in between loads. 4. If you have a small apartment, you may think that a laundry bag on the floor will take up too much space. No worries. Go to an over-door hamper. That way you can pop your dirty clothes into the hamper when you are done with them. This takes it off the floor and keeps everything organized. You can find one of these over-door hampers for super cheap. 5. In order to ensure that clothes aren't thrown all over the apartment, install a hook board in the hallway so that you can hang your coats and jackets from this. You can realistically put whatever you want on a hook board. It's there for you to use and give you more room in your closets. 6. If you're a tea lover, then you're a tea lover. That means you probably have a lot of tea bags at home. Keeping them all in their boxes looks sloppy and can often take up too much room. Stackable translucent containers can provide a neat place to store your tea bags. 7. You need a sponge in order to clean your plates when you're done eating. What do you do with a sponge, though? It's unsanitary and messy to keep a sponge simply on top of the counter. A steel sponge caddy can attach to the inside of your sink and provide a safe space for you to store your sponge when it's not being used. 8. It's easy to simply toss your clothes all over your apartment when you aren't feeling like putting clothes away. So a foldable sectional divider drawer won't actually fold your clothes for you, but it makes everything easier. When something is easy to do, you'll be more likely to do it. This is a cheap option to keep your clothes organized. 9. When you are in the middle of making a great recipe, you don't want to search high and low for the perfect spice that will add some more flavor. A 3-tiered standalone spice rack allows you to have your favorite spices in plain sight. That way you can reach for the paprika whenever a recipe calls for it. 10. Even though a lot of companies are going in a paperless route, some things do require paper statements to be stored. Where do you put all these papers? They can often end up all over the place, and you don't want that. An over-the-door file cabinet is perfect for storing your papers. 11. Makeup is fun. Makeup is beautiful. Not when it's not stored properly. You've paid too much money for lipstick and blush to have them on the floor, broken or stuffed somewhere in a bag. With a makeup organizer, you have an inexpensive way to keep everything stored, so you have everything on display for when you need to use makeup. 12. When you have an apartment, especially a small apartment, you don't have the room that those who live in a house do. That's why you want to make the most of your cabinets. Instead of stacking pots and pans on top of each other, put a multi-tiered organizer in your cabinets for your cooking pans. This way you don't have to stuff them in your oven. 13. Whether you have cans of soup, tomato sauce, or green peas, you're taking up valuable space in your cabinets. While everything is a necessity, it is also cumbersome. By purchasing an inexpensive stackable rack, you can store your canned goods and leave room for other food items in your kitchen cabinets. 14. Whether you are an artist or frequently like to change the wall paint in your apartment, you need somewhere to store your tools. An industrial storage bin is a great way to store your supplies and also looks great. Cheap storage doesn't need to be expensive for it to be useful and aesthetically pleasing. 15. Have you ever locked yourself out of the apartment or spent unnecessary time in the morning trying to find your keys? Organize your mind and your home by installing an on-the-wall key holder with a mail holder attached. You can not only store your mail until you're ready to go through it all, but you can also never forget where your keys are. 16. Storage containers can be put anywhere in your apartment. You need to get creative when you are in an apartment. And since you are in a budget, you don't need to spend a ton of money for these foldable storage containers. 17. When you hear customizable, you think pricey, but that really not necessarily. A customizable wooden desk organizer is a very fashionable and nifty way to store a phone, paper clips, pens, and more. That way, when you are working from home, as many of us are right now, you have everything you need right in front of you. 18. Have you ever been looking for the remote only to find that it's stuffed in between your couch cushions? A couch caddy allows you to tuck your remote, your phone, and other items in it so nothing ever gets lost in your couch. Everything is within arm's reach for an easy and cheap organizational item. 19. Ties can be a tricky item to store. You either stuff them in your drawer or sling them all on a hanger, which means that soon they will all be on the floor. Avoid this mess with a tie rack. You can properly store and organize your ties to use whenever you have a big meeting or a fancy dinner party. 20. A fish rack is a perfect item for your apartment. Not everyone has a dishwasher. Even if you do, you may not want to waste electricity on running a small load. Hand wash and dry your plates and place them in a dish rack that will keep them organized while preventing water from getting on the counter. 21. Showers really don't come with a lot of room for your shampoo and conditioner bottles. Most often, they come with a small little ledge. That's not enough room. A shower caddy will ensure that you don't have to put everything on the sides of the tub, which would often get flung into the bathtub itself. 22. Let's say you don't feel like having a coat rack in your home because it may take up too much room. Coats also take up room in your closet. By installing some minimalistic hooks on the wall, you have a perfect place to store your coats and jackets. This is a cheap option that will help organize your apartment. 23. Your linen closet could get quite messy quite quickly. As the place that you're storing your towels in, you want to keep everything neat. Install an organizational box in your linen closet to store whatever you need properly, for a cheap price. 24. Don't simply throw items in the under-sink cabinets in your bathroom. With a rack, you can store items better. They can be neater and won't cost you a lot. You will have an easier time getting what you need with this under-the-sink bathroom rack. 25. Shoes can often be messy. Whether they're taken off right while you enter the home or your kids have kicked off the sneakers wherever they feel. With a shoe organizer, you can place your shoes underneath the bed. This will at least create the illusion of your apartment being neat. 26. When you're cooking, you often need a towel to wipe your hands on. Where do you put them? An over-the-cabinet hanger can keep your towels off the counter, but nearby enough for you to use when you need them. 27. If you live somewhere that has seasons, you're not wearing everything in your wardrobe all throughout the year. Instead of stuffing everything in your closet, take seasonal clothes out. Let's say you're preparing for the winter. Get all of your summer and spring clothes to book in storage bags. Most of these you can suction the air out, so they're easy to store. By simply doing this, you can store these bags under your bed. Your apartment looks neater, and you have more room in your closet. 28. An Ottoman looks great and can be a really great visual addition to your home. It can also be a secret storage container for whatever you need. Let's say you have a dog who enjoys chewing on your slipper. Rather than keeping your slippers out where it can tempt your dog, store them in a fashionable Ottoman when you aren't using your slippers. And that's all for now. What do you think about this episode? Please share your thoughts about this video in the comment section. For more decorating and organizing ideas, stay tuned to our channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.